From Storm Tracker 6, this is Forecast First, sponsored by Auto Owners Insurance. Simple human sense.
Well, it's been a windy and kind of rainy day out there today. We had a mix of clouds and sunshine. Now the clouds have made their way back. Temperatures back into the 50s, 51 degrees in Lansing and Grand Ledge, 48 in Jackson and Hillsdale. Our colder air is starting to work its way through the system. As you can see, we have scattered showers making their way back into the forecast for tonight, and that will continue throughout the next 12 hours as we see some scattered showers and even the chance for some snow showers as temperatures fall back down into the 30s. All the details coming up in just a little bit. 6 News at 5:30 starts right now.
WLNS is here for you with 6 News at 5:30.
Thank you for joining us this evening. I'm Siobhan Klepfer. Let's start the clock on our first 6 minutes of news, and we begin tonight with a court ruling declaring 3 missing Michigan boys dead, something their mother has been working toward for years. Andrew, Alexander, and Tanner Skelton disappeared during Thanksgiving with their father back in 2010. A Lenawee County judge declared them dead, but rejected a request to officially acknowledge the father, John Skelton, who killed them. Well, he has never been charged with killing his sons. He is in prison, though, serving a 15-year sentence for failing to return the boys to the mother. That sentence is up in November. A former Washtenaw County church official who worked with kids is going to stand trial on 60 charges involving sexual abuse of children. 29-year-old Zachary Radcliffe is accused of first-degree criminal sexual conduct, child sexually abusive activity, and using a computer to commit a crime. He worked at the Oakwood Church in Augusta Township in Washtenaw County as the music and youth director. Prosecutors say he asked a child for sexually abusive material, and an investigation turned up several people who say they were victims. Radcliffe is due in court on Friday. In Frankenmuth, a brief medical emergency. The fire department there says pool chemicals leaked into the water at Zender's Splash Village, an indoor water park. Firefighters say 11 people reported feeling symptoms of being sick. Some were taken to a hospital while others refused treatment. Hazmat crews stayed on the scene today to monitor air quality, and the park is open. In Battle Creek, the Hart Dole Inouye Federal Center showed up on a list of government buildings to be sold earlier today. The list showed non-core properties, which are sites the government says are not essential to operations. But the list was removed from the General Services Administration website today. The building is 122 years old and now serves as the Department of Defense Logistics Facility. It began life as the Battle Creek Sanitarium, the health center run by John Harvey Kellogg. Today, police in Grand Rapids announced the largest fentanyl bust in the city's history. Officials say on Monday the department's Vice unit seized a little more than a pound of fentanyl in the community of Grandville. They also seized about a half a pound of heroin. Officers arrested a 53-year-old man during the investigation. Police say the amount of fentanyl is enough to kill 250,000 people, or everyone in Grand Rapids and Grandville. Chinese leaders are hitting back against President Trump's tariffs on foreign imports despite the country's own economic problems. Beijing announced it's retaliating against the U.S. by imposing additional tariffs of up to 15% on a wide array of American farm imports, including chicken and beef. The development comes after the president raised tariffs on Chinese imports to 20% across the board. The growing trade war is looming over the National People's Congress this week.
As the sort of rivalry goes on, there will come to a point that we can have a good settlement.
Earlier, the Chinese embassy issued a statement saying in part, if war is what the U.S. wants, be it a tariff war, a trade war, or any other type of war, we're ready to fight till the end. Staying with political news, the Democratic mayors of 4 American cities, major ones, appeared before a congressional hearing today to defend their cities' safety records. The mayors of Boston, Chicago, Denver, and New York say Republicans and the Trump administration are exaggerating crime committed by immigrants. Republicans have repeatedly highlighted crimes committed by immigrants who crossed illegally into the U.S.
The false narrative is that immigrants in general are criminals, or immigrants in general cause all sorts of danger and harm. That is actually what is undermining safety in our communities. If you wanted to make us safe, pass gun reforms, stop cutting Medicaid, stop cutting cancer research, stop cutting funds for veterans. That is what will make our city safe.
There's no legal definition for sanctuary city policies, but they generally limit cooperation by local law enforcement with federal immigration officers. Courts have repeatedly upheld the legality of sanctuary laws. Meanwhile, today the Supreme Court reinstated a lower court order forcing the Trump administration to release frozen foreign aid. By a 5-4 vote, the court rejected an emergency appeal from the Republican administration. Chief Justice John Roberts and Justice Amy Coney Barrett, two conservatives, joined the 3 liberal justices to form a majority. They also told the U.S. District Judge to clarify his earlier order that required the quick release of nearly $2 billion in aid for work that had already been done. And overseas, a Ukrainian Air Force fighter pilot shared a video today of him holding a sign thanking Americans for their support. The sign says, "Thank you to the American people for your support and stand with Ukraine." The pilot wrote on social media that his fellow pilots also gave their thanks for the support in the fight against, quote, Russian terror. On Monday, President Trump paused all military aid to Ukraine. Back here in America, a Hawaiian volcano continues to erupt and last night shot streams of lava up to heights of 600 feet. It's the latest eruption for Mount Kilauea, which has been pausing and resuming over the last several months. It's one of the world's most active volcanoes. From fire to ice, the world's largest iceberg, which has been drifting in the Southern Ocean since 2020, has now run aground. The mega iceberg, known as A23A, weighs about 1 trillion metric tons. It's just a little smaller than the state of Rhode Island. Scientists, they were worried it would impact colonies of penguins and seals, trapping them away from their food source. But instead, it's grounded on a continental shelf about 56 miles from shore. And galloping across the finish line and our first 6 minutes of news, about 11 horses were loose on Highway M6 in Kent County this morning. The sheriff's office there says they came from a boarding facility in Byron Township, but it's not clear exactly how they got loose. An interesting sight, though, for sure. Michigan State troopers helped corral the horses and even named one of them Durango. Sometimes you just want to run, Kelsey, you know, just be free,
Honestly,
no matter where it is.
Honestly, I mean, it's a good thing that it's such a unique experience to see that in Michigan.
Yeah. And they had nice weather, like decent weather today.
Yeah,
anyway,
they had a little bit
of
of some rain showers, but it was at least nothing too bad, like wind or snow.
Right.
But yeah, it's still a nice day to do that.
Yeah. All right. Well, you got your full forecast coming up right after the break with Kelly.